Hey, it's Lynn Brown. I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. And I spent the first half of my life people pleasing. And then in my spare time, I was literally trapped by the opinions of others. And I practically lived in my mind. It was like a mental prison. And then one day, I took a step in the direction of my dreams. And I was willing to bet on myself for the first time ever. I have committed the rest of my life to becoming the best version of me and partnering with people who want to do the same. So today we're going to take a look at how we can slay the holidays. And yes, I agree. It's the most wonderful time of the year. But I also know that in order for that to happen, how we approach it matters. And trust me, take my advice from past experience. If we think about it on the front end, that will ensure that we get a greater return on the back end. And you might not believe this when I say this, but this whole self-care mindset is new to me. A few years ago, I really believed that the point of this game that we call life was just to give yourself away. Just save the world. Leave it all on the playing field. And yes, I do believe that showing up for life at our very best is key. But I also believed and learned the hard way that practicing self-care is vital. And really, y'all, until I was aware of how many choices, really the choices and my mindset, how that was affecting the results I was getting in my life, nothing changed. I always thought it was my circumstances. I really did. And I'm sure you've heard this old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. Or as my Les Brown says, I've been mentored by him before, you can't see the picture when you are in the frame. And I was stuck there for so many years. And what I've learned the hard way is that our stress level and our joy meter is directly related to our awareness. The choices we make over these next 30 days will directly affect our results. And one of the easiest ways to drastically reduce chaos and stress, anxiety, is to learn to say no. Now, for those of you that know me well, you're probably laughing right now because learning to say no was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, and I have still not mastered it. I still get sucked in from time to time. But just saying no is so freeing. It gives you control. You actually control what you do or don't do. Now, before you say, you have no idea what my circumstances are, there's nothing I can cut out of my schedule. There's so many office parties and family gatherings, and I've got to ring the Salvation Army bell, and that's a good cause, and there's Toys for Tots, and the list goes on and on and on. I've got kids to take care of. I've got to go to the dentist, return all the stuff I bought on Black Friday. Whatever your thing is. But just slow down for a minute, take a deep breath, and think into what your response will be the next time somebody calls you, approaches you, runs into you in Publix or whatever, and says, can you, by the way, help me volunteer? Can you volunteer and help me, whatever, set up for the Christmas party or the Christmas program? Honestly, all you have to say is, I'm not going to be able to. Now, in the past, I would come up with some elaborate reason why I couldn't, but you don't have to. You don't have to come up with an excuse. You don't have to explain your answer. And honestly, when you do, it just prevents the other person trying to come back to overcome your objection. So just simply say, I'm not going to be able to. Trust me, it took me a long time and a lot of fails before I ever learned how to say no. But if you do honestly believe there's zero time in your schedule for exercise or for meal prep or sit by the fire at night, then just go ahead and be content with whatever you end up with. I always wanted to blame my circumstances or blame the bank balance or blame my thyroid. I even did that for a lot of years for my weight gain. But the truth is that we are a product of our very best thinking. And so maybe this season, you could take a few minutes and think into just the obvious things. Who all will you buy gifts for? Who will you send cards to? Will you send cards? And guess what? The season will continue regardless of any of these things. What holiday parties will you host or attend? Maybe you could purchase a special water bottle just to stay hydrated during the season. What if you put your workout clothes the night before? Just put them out the night before so you would get up and go work out. Maybe you could get up 15 minutes early to enjoy the stillness of the morning. Practice gratitude just every day. If you can't think of 5 things or 7 things to write down, what is one thing you could write down every day? Call a friend and wish them, a Merry Christmas. And I would definitely encourage you to set your reminders in your phone for this or set an alarm. I do this, and honestly, when I do this, I get better results. And not only does it just free that space and declutters your mind when you go ahead and put it in your calendar or put it in your, put an alarm for it, but it also ensures that, that you will do it. Oh, and here's another thought for you too. And this sounds crazy too, because you're like, surely I get enough sunshine. But y'all, a lot of people do not get enough sunshine in the day. And so set your alarm for 15 minutes of sunshine. There's so many people that I talk to, they're like, oh, I got my checkup and I'm vitamin D, deficient. So practice self-care. Go out and get some sunshine. And honestly, I wish one of Santa's elves would stop by your house and make sure that you do this season, that you practice self-care. But y'all, that's not going to happen. It's up to you. There was some research done at Cornell University, and they interviewed hundreds of residents in nursing homes across the country. And the number one response they got from their residents: I wish I had worried less. I wish I was less stressed. I wish I had lived more. There wasn't any that said, I wish I had been given or received, more Rolexes, or I wish I had gotten, yard of the month, or, I wish I'd made more money. But they wanted and wished that they had worried less, that they had lived more. And honestly, it takes work. I'm not going to tell you that just listening to this little podcast is going to just change everything for you. Y'all, I have been resetting my mindset over the last 5 years. And I will tell you, it's taken some work. I've had to invest in myself financially. And, I have a lot of mentors. And I will tell you that I have leaned in over the last 5 years. Now, and I've had some results. Now, I'm not telling you I'm perfect at all. I've had some epic fails, these last 5 years too. But I'm better than I was. So we harvest the good and we move forward. But I will tell you, I had to annihilate some bogus stories I had created, and that'll be for another podcast another time. But we create these stories. Even over the holidays, we create these stories. We get into that comparison trap with our friends or relatives and who's getting what, and we get into those traps and we create the stories. And so what are you going to do when it shows up, when that voice shows up? What are you going to do when comparison sets in or worry sets in? Well, you have 2 choices. You can reset your thought processes. And I truly have done that in my life, and it works, y'all. Or you can keep doing the same thing and keep getting the same results. So it's totally up to you. And I know it really perturbs me, when I got to that place where I realized I couldn't blame anybody but myself for the results I was getting. But since this past August, I've released 25 pounds. That is a direct result of a reset of my mindset. It truly is. So we'll be sharing more techniques over these next few episodes as we travel, through this holiday season together. But honestly, we have to ask ourselves this question: if not now, then when? Are we just going to wait for January 1st and just kind of stumble into the new year and be behind, on our momentum? Or are we going to start now? Trust me. Trust me on this one. My little extended stay, my vacay in ICU got my attention. I mean, it's where I met my cardiologist. Of course, I didn't know I needed one until after this doctor came in and explained to me that I'd had a heart attack. How stress is no joke. Anxiety is no joke. Running on that never-ending hamster treadmill thing called life that we think has to stay that way is no joke. It's hard to believe that with all the holiday sounds and all the yummy smells of Christmas, that people experience more anxiety this time of year than any other. You know, we can hear the carols through the malls and through the stores and, you know, from our phones. We sing all is calm, all is bright, and we, at the same time, we look for things to numb it all. That can be fudge. It can be credit cards. It can be busyness. It can be Pinot Grigio. And none of these things are bad in and of themselves, but we have to get still enough to look at our behavior and to then look deeper at what drives it. And our behavior does not lie. The scales don't lie. Leggings don't lie. Children don't lie. And drunks don't lie. And neither does the results, you know, from our behavior, because our belief drives our behavior. I'll never forget when my mentor, Paul Martinelli, shared that with me for the first time. It actually blew my mind. It was more like really I got hit in the head between the eyes with a 2x4. I mean, it was eye-opening. But for the first time, I honestly can tell you that I see my value. I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but I love me. I really do. And I'm a better person because of that. I'm a nicer person. I'm a better friend. I'm a better wife. I'm a better mama. I'm a better honey. It's my sweet little grandbabies call me. But y'all, we cannot give what we do not have. And to love others, I must love me first. This season is all about love, about peace and hope. And I pray that you experience His peace like never before. And that you know like never before that your identity is in Him. You are created in His image perfectly. Now that doesn't mean we're perfect, because there's nobody perfect walking around down here on this big blue rock. But we are created perfectly in His image. Now go have a little fudge, it's fine, but drink your water too, and don't forget your sunshine. Let's slay the holidays like gritty women, practicing gratitude and resilience, inspiring others, thinking for ourselves, and being tough, but most importantly, being you. Being the you were created to be. So don't get your tinsel untangled. Let's shine bright, gritty women. I believe in you, and I'll see you next time.